Hello, so welcome to week 18 of the Ray of Hope crochet along, and this week we're making the floating shell stitch. So this one is a bit like the floating boxes stitch. The shells look like they're kind of suspended in thin air. It's just a really pretty stitch. I say that a lot, don't I? But they are lots of pretty stitches. So how do we make it? So for this stitch we're going to use a 3.5mm hook. We're making this down the long edge. So we need to start with a foundation chain of 81. Okay, so I've marked the first chain from my hook. So the turning chain will count as your first double crochet. And then in the fourth chain from your hook, we'll double crochet. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the next stitch we're going to make 5 double crochet, all in the same stitch. 2, 3, and this will be your first shell. So all our shells are made with 5 double crochet. And 5. Okay, so now we're going to skip 4 chains, sorry. So skip the next 4 chains, 3, 4. Okay, and then in the next chain we'll make another shell. So this is our repeats for the row. So you skip 4 chains. And then the next chain, make 5 double crochet, and that's your shell. You skip the next 4 chains and then make another shell of 5 double crochet. And you're going to do that down the whole chain until you have 4 stitches left. Okay, there's my shell of 5. Now I'm going to skip the next 4 stitches and make another shell. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with that, and I shall come back when I've got 4 stitches left in row 1. That's the end of the row and I've got 4 stitches left. So I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, and then I'm going to double crochet in the last 2. Okay, and that's row 1 complete. I've got all these lovely shells. Okay, so row 2. We turn, chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet in the first stitch. Just pop a stitch marker in there. And we're going to single crochet in the next stitch as well. Okay, so we're going to be adding some extra stitches in this row. So you're not going to get your 79 stitch count. So we're going to make a single crochet between the double crochet and the shell. So we're going to be going around the stitch and make that extra single crochet. Just fits in there. And then you go to chain 5, 4, 5, and then make your next single crochet between the 2 shells. So the single crochets in this row, you're not making into the stitches. You're making them between the stitches and between the shells, and that just means we get some really nice defined shells with a nice sharp crimp at the top. So chain 5, 5, and then make your next single crochet between the shells. Okay. And that's all you do all the way down the row. Chain 5, then single crochet between the shells. Chain 5, single crochet between the shells. We do that all the way down the row. So I'm going to carry on with that, and I shall see when I get to the end of the row. Okay, so I've got to the end of the row, and my last single crochet is made between your last shell and the double crochet. So you just get between there as you did like the shells. And then those last 2 stitches you're going to single crochet. And then single crochet into the final stitch. Okay, and that's row 2 complete. Okay, so row 3, turn and chain 1, so that tail out of the way, and then make the alternate turning chain in your first stitch. And then double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so we're going to make another row of shells now, and you're going to make all the shells in the chain. Okay, so in the third chain, so right in the middle, you're going to go into the chain, not around the chain but into it, and make 5 double crochet. It doesn't matter kind of which loop in your chain you go into. If you want to go into the back bump, the top chain or the bottom one, it's entirely up to you. 2, 3, but just make 5 double crochet into the same chain. Okay, then find the next middle chain of the next one. So you're only ever working into that third chain in your set of 5, and then you move on to the next third chain in the set of 5, and just make 5 double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And do this all the way along the row. Let's pull it out. This is how you get the floating look, because those shells are in the chain and they just like they're floating. So it's a very lacy look for shells that come out at the end. Okay, so when you get to the end of the row, as you come out here, you'll do your last shell in that chain, and then you'll double crochet in these last 2 stitches. So to finish the piece, you're going to have 9 rows in total, and you're repeating rows 2 and 3. Okay, so I'm going to carry on, and I shall see you when I've finished row 9. Okay, so I finished the floating shells piece and finished our row shells. So it's up to you which way you have it. Have it this way with these ridges showing. Kind of makes it look like little cupcakes. Or you've got the other side where the shells just sit on top of those chains. So once you've finished all 9 rows, you'll be adding your slip stitch border. So you're going to make a slip stitch in every single stitch across the top, so in the top of every double crochet. So you'll have 79 stitches across the long side, and then on the short sides you'll make one slip stitch into the side of every single crochet row and 2 slip stitches into every double crochet row. And once that's finished, you can weave in your ends and join it to the rest of your pieces. So I hope you enjoy, and I shall see you next week for the next piece. Bye for now.